Kalosas Vrikame! Hey, thank you everybody for joining us on episode 53. Are we? How is this happening? That we're on episode 53. Hey, but look, we've got a pretty special guest today.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, it's we're going to be joined in a couple of minutes with a Greek and now kind of Greek American, I think, actor, Christos Vasilopoulos, who is really got his start in Greece. He was in the Greek National Theater. I mean, I kind of saw little clips of him playing King Lear. So that's a tough thing to do, to be part of the Greek National Theater. That's pretty impressive. But, and then he was in serialized television, one real popular show called Lola in Greece, that all the people in Greece that are watching us in Greece seem to kind of just know and ask me about and things like that. So that's kind of cool. But to our American audiences, the first time I saw him on a show called Banshee, where he played this Ukrainian mobster, Olek, and just completely stole the show. Now you can see him on Cinemax as Warrior, and we also saw him on La Ship. And we're going to play a little clip of Banshee here, and we're going to, let's see here, we're going to just show a little clip of Banshee.
Stop following me, Lieutenant. I can't. Oh, your father would like to see you. But he did say I could kill you if you became a problem. Are you really going to be a problem? No. You look good, Anna. He has missed you terribly.
He's insane.
He loves his daughter.
Olek, you can't bring me to him. Please.
We'll take my car. Get in.
I'm not getting in there, Olek.
Yes, you are. Hey, Olek.
Oh, wow. That is just amazing. And we welcome to the show today Christos Vasilopoulos and he is in LA. But hey, thank you for joining us.
Hello there. Hi. Yes. Yachara. How are you guys?
Yes, yeah, we're doing great. Thank you. We're just so happy to have you on the show, and you're going to teach us a recipe.
I'm so happy to be part of the show. Thank you for inviting me. It was such a pleasure. When you told me about it, I was like, yes, we're going to cook, cooking and food, especially for Greeks. It's part of our culture. Kitchen or the dining area are always the most crowded rooms in a Greek house that everybody gathers and exchanges ideas and talks and eat and drink, and that can last for hours, as you know, Bob.
Yes. No, but
yeah.
We met not too long ago. During an interview, we actually got to spend some time together on a sailing yacht, which was kind of fun. And when George Tsitsides interviewed you, so I'm so happy we got to meet like that too, in a very kind of fun and casual setting.
That was great. That was a really special day, and thank you so much for your Greek super Greek hospitality. and Bob, you're so Greek. And it was really nice. It was really nice meeting you and talking to you and chatting. And I think we had a lot of things to say on that yacht ride, and I think we have more actually in the future.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I would love to. Before you start cooking, I thought maybe we'd start off and just kind of ask you a couple of questions about your experience here from Greece to the U.S. and And I thought that was, you were like this, or you are still like this Greek heartthrob over there. You came from a place of the National Theater in Greece. You kind of grew up in that. You went on to do serialized television. You're on all these magazines and everything. And you're like this beloved. I mean, everything you're doing is like this. Then you come here and you're playing Ukrainian heavies, like Bad Guy Cowboys. It's like, although you did play a Greek sailor on Lost Ship. So I thought, what kind of
I was playing
it must be challenging for you, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's part of the journey. I worked for 14 years in Greece, nonstop. I started acting when I was 17 years old. And then I graduated. By the time I graduated, I was 20 years old, and I was already working at the theater. And then I was working on at the theater, and I was also doing commercials, but I wasn't booking any TV shows in Greece. So the first 7 years, I didn't do any TV. The first 8 years, actually, because I booked my first TV gig by the age of 25. So for 8 years, I would go to auditions, and I was very close. I would get very close, and then I wouldn't book the part. And actually now, after so many years, going back and thinking why I wasn't booking, those roles, I know why I wasn't. So after booking my first TV show, which is Erotas, and that was my big breakthrough. Erotas went for me, it was for 2 years. It was a daily show, and it was a massive hit all over Greece and all over the world. Actually, a lot of people from Australia, from Canada, from Africa, all Greeks that get to watch Greek TV, they got to know me through Erotas. And then, everything happened really magical with a way of going with the flow. Like I started working on TV and the theater at the same time, because this is what you do in Greece. You don't just work on a TV show and that's about it. Or you might, but if you're a working actor, you can do theater and TV at the same time. So I worked for 14 years nonstop. And then by the age of 31, I stopped in my head while I was working. I was working on 2 shows. It was 2008, 2009. And I was working on 2 shows. One of them was Lola. The other one was Matomena Chomata, which is an amazing TV show about Smyrna and what happened with the Greeks and the Turks back in 1922. It's a great show. You should check it out.
I will.
And I was also working at the theater. So it was a pretty busy year. And I stopped. I paused in my head, and I said, where do I want to be? How am I going to be in the next 10 years? And the answer was pretty easy, because my career was steady. I was, working a lot. I was making money. So I would see myself in 10 years from then in the same place, meaning I would do TV. I would still do theater. Probably I would have a family. I would have a nice house and a car, and everybody would know me. But that's not what I wanted. And what I wanted was to explore, learn a lot more about my craft, take it to the next level. And of course, when you're working and on a high level in your country, the next level, if you reach that level, the next level on acting is definitely LA, the mecca of the movies and TV shows. So for me, it was a natural move to decide to leave all that behind, even though a lot of fellow actors back then, they were like, what are you doing? Are you crazy? You're working, you're making money, everybody knows you. Where are you going to go there? Nobody knows you. You're going to start from the scratch. What are you doing? I just didn't care. I just said, I want to do it. I want to go and work and see how people work there. I want to have classes. I want to meet people. And, if it doesn't work out, it's not going to work out. It's okay. At least I won't have it inside of me. And that's
Sure.
the biggest lesson for me. And every time people ask me, should I do this? Should I do that? Should I, risk? Should I take the step and do like a big move? And I go like, yes, you have to. You owe it to yourself, because if you don't, then many times in your head you're gonna go, what if I've done this? What if is gonna be chasing you forever? And I'm a totally not what if guy. I'm a guy that I have no what ifs in every field. I just booked my ticket. I got all my money. I paid off all my mortgages, and I made the move to LA without knowing anybody, without having any manager, any agent. Really starting from the scratch. And I gave myself a time frame. I said, if you don't book anything within the first 2 years, well, you got to go back. That means that this is not for you. And it's totally acceptable. Sometimes we have to try a lot of things to realize what is for us and what's not. And it's okay if something is not for us, but it's not okay if you don't try it and say, oh yeah, what if? So I always encourage people to try out and always dream and follow their dreams. And, at least you did it. It didn't work out. Maybe that's not for you. Maybe this wasn't, a level for me. It wasn't a game for me. But I still owe it to myself to try it out. And then the 2 years became
out for you.
I'm sorry, what?
Clearly it's working out for you.
Yeah, it's been 12 years.
Yeah, but it's 12 years of mastering multiple accents. It's 12 years of being ready to, you did start from scratch here, really. You didn't, you had the tools at your disposal because, you came up in the National Theater, you had all that exposure, but trying to make those connections, those, the professional friendships, the professional work that you get to do. Yeah, that's pretty incredible. Did you mentioned your colleagues from Greece were like skeptical of you coming here. What did your fans think? What was that like? Did they feel like, oh gosh, that's great, he's going to be in American movies? Or did they feel like, no, he's one of ours, come back home?
I think there was at the beginning a lot of comment like, where are you gonna go? Stay here. We love you. But this is truly a journey that helped me evolve as an actor, as Christos, as a man, as a human being, as a dad now. So I really have learned a lot from this trip, from this journey, all the 12, 13 years that I've been out here. And one of the things that I've learned is in regards to my job, acting, is that I realized that coming out here and being unknown, it really taught me that I don't do this job to be famous. I don't do this job to go to a restaurant in Greece and say, I want the best table, all those like funny behaviors of superstars, because I'm not this kind of person. And if I wanted to have that, I would certainly, be back home in Greece right now, and I would enjoy, being known and being popular, and the lady in the kiosk knows me when I go and buy the newspaper, et cetera, et cetera. So I realized that, being popular, it is, and being known to the audience, it is part of my job, but it's not why I'm doing this job. And that's really important for me as an actor and as Christos. And I can tell you that other Greeks that have tried it with same careers and it didn't work out, they just left because they wanted to be back in their comfort zone. They wanted to be back in, that environment of, oh, they know me. I feel comfortable here because I step into a bar and people get to know me and people look at me. And for me, it really doesn't matter. I embrace it and I love it. And when people come and show their love, or even when I get messages on my social media, I always reply, simply because the audience and people that watch my show and watch me as an actor, I owe them the fact that I'm here now, because without them, I wouldn't be here. I would be back home probably doing theater. So I feel that I embrace it. I embrace the popularity, and I always give some time to the people that maybe want to take a picture or maybe want to say something or. But that's not the reason why I'm doing. That's not the reason why I'm an actor.
Wow, that's very interesting. I want to talk to you more about your whether the discipline that you gained through martial arts kind of helped in this attitude of, hey, I'm going to get out of my comfort zone, and things like that. But we should probably because it. Sometime I would imagine that you're that has given you a type of discipline where you can you're not afraid to move to another level, because it's all about moving to the next level. But speaking of other levels and moving, we should, people are watching and they want to see a recipe, they want to see some cooking, so we should probably let you start a little bit, and maybe I can ask you questions as we go. Is that cool?
Sure.
And I Absolutely. Should say that that we do have some people watching. We have Alexia Vasilou is watching. You may remember her as but and so is and Froso Stavrou, who's been a regular guest on this show, has asked from Thessaloniki, has asked if would you participate in reality shows like other Greek actors? So maybe you can answer that.
I actually was part of a survival game called Nomads in Antenna. That was 2 or 3 years ago. That is part reality, part survival game. And it was shot in Madagascar for 3 months, and wow. That was really a challenge for me. I loved it personally. I felt that it was something between, the Hunger Games and I don't know if you've seen that movie with Jim Carrey.
Oh yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Oh, what's it called?
The Truman Show.
Truman Show,
Truman Show, yes.
Sure.
So it kind of feels that you're on a Truman Show, because it's a game, but it's also survival, and it's real. I lost 25 pounds.
Wow.
So just imagine me 25 pounds less.
Oh my God.
I made it all the way to the end, and that was my goal. My goal wasn't to win. My goal was to make it all the way to the end, and I got 5th by the end. And it was a great experience. That's the only reality survival game I've been. I don't know if I would ever do something else like a reality game. Whatever has to do with survival, nature, simply because I love it and I love outdoors activities. And I was also in the special forces in the army, in the Greek army. I was a Marine, so I kind of have that, you know, inside of me, that adventurous thing. So when they called me about this nomads project, I was like, I'm game. Let's do it. Let's simply just do it. um, that's in regards to the question. I'll start with a recipe, so I don't want
Yes,
I won't
thank
keep
you.
you
Yeah,
long.
no, you're not keeping
Uh,
us. We
so so today I'm gonna make one of my most favorite, easy, super healthy recipes. It's a pretty amazing for vegan and vegetarian people. Vegan people, if you don't want to use cheese, and it's pesto genovese, and it's a mix um, of the Massimo Bottura. If you guys know this Italian chef, he's a really famous Italian chef. I took his recipe and I combined it with the recipe of Akis Petrazikis, who's another
oh
really
yeah,
famous Greek chef in Greece, which I absolutely I love and I adore him because he's super good in what he does, and he's got this amazing energy. So my kind of pesto genovese, it's a mix of both. Okay, and we start with fresh basil. I already cut it and clean it, but it's fresh. You know, you have to have fresh. You can't have anything else. And you actually can mix it with mint. I'm using a little mint in my recipe. So basically, uh, basil leaves, and mint. You can do it with only mint if you want. You can do it with only basil if you want. You can add more herbs to mix a little bit the flavor, but the original one is with basil and a little bit of mint. So I'm using this amazing little tool that, as you can see, is like a mixture, like it mashes things. So I'm gonna put all my basil in, and I'm gonna stuff it in. This is why I love this recipe. This recipe, you can really do it in 5 minutes, and then you can keep it on your fridge for a couple of days. You can use it right away, or you can have it on other stuff apart from spaghetti or whatever you want to use it. You can use it on, hot bread from the oven. You can use it with cheese and hot bread. You can use it with tomato and some mozzarella cheese, and it's a great recipe. And like I said, you can have it. I usually have it in my fridge, and when I'm hungry and there's nothing to eat, and I have 10 minutes, I make my spaghetti. Boom, boom. I have this ready in the fridge. I throw it in, and it's super delicious. So we start with the leaves. We put it in, and then we add olive oil. Now, the olive oil that I'm usually using is from my village because we have olive trees and we produce our own olive oil. But now with the pandemic, unfortunately, I didn't have a chance to have my own all on my own olive oil. But just buy some extra cold pressed extra virgin olive oil. That's the best for the recipe. Um, Really, the ingredients are key because the fresh and how good ingredients you use, the better actually. So I'm gonna add a little bit of um, olive oil here. I'll add about, I would say, 3 to 4 tablespoons. and you can see it right here. I don't know if you can see it, but it's all the way up to here. That's enough to begin. That's enough for the first step. And then I'll add, the way they are, 3 cloves of garlic. You can use 1, you can use 2. It depends on how strong you want the flavor to be. I like strong flavors. I like spicy flavors. I like herbs. I like garlic. So I'm going strong here, and I'm really using 3 flavors. I'm just throw them in. And
Have
then,
you noticed the garlic here in the United States is a lot weaker than what you get in Greece?
yeah.
You noticed that too.
It's
Not just us.
It is.
No, it's not just us, because we brought some garlic from Greece, and just, I mean, it's gone now. but it goes real. Anything from Greece goes real fast. No, but it seemed like I have to use 3 times what I would in Greece.
Yeah, whatever you're gonna bring from Greece is gonna be a little like more tasteful than what they sell here. Even though we're in California, and California has amazing products, we have to say this: super healthy, very, very natural. But I think it still can't beat the Greek thing. Back to the recipe. Now, here's another little thing, just to make your recipe a little cheaper. If you don't want to, sometimes you cannot find the rose pine nuts. That's it. The rose pine nuts, because that's the key for the pesto. The rose pine nuts, which you add later on. So if you don't have pine nut, nuts, you can use either walnuts, you can use almonds, you can use cashew. Cashew is very close to the flavor of rose pine. Right? Am I saying it right?
Yeah, pine nuts.
Rose pine.
No.
Pine nuts. Yes, pine nuts.
Pine
I'm
nuts.
sorry.
Yeah.
Pine nuts. Correct me whenever because I'm I'm not 100% American. So correct me if I'm wrong with some words. So the pine nuts are more expensive, and they cost a lot more. But the flavor you can get from cashew, it's exactly the same. If you don't have cashew, another ingredient you can use is breadcrumbs. So, you can either use a type of nut in there, whatever nut that is, walnuts, almonds, cashew, whatever you want. It's certainly going to give you the flavor of the pine nut. But if you don't have any of those, use your breadcrumbs. And I'm going to put about 2 tablespoons of breadcrumbs in here. Okay, you see, so it's going to look like this.
Okay.
Okay, so
Yeah,
I'm using the breadcrumbs. I'll add a little cashew just for the flavor, since I have both. So I add just a handful. All right, and then what was that? What was that, Aurora?
No, we were. We hear a beep, and we wasn't sure if it was coming from your side or from our side.
Do you hear it?
Okay.
No, it's gone. Wait.
Oh no, there it is.
I
don't hear it. I think it's from you guys.
Oh, it's probably trucks outside.
Oh my God. I'm gonna mute myself.
I'm sorry. What? Should I keep going?
Yeah. Please keep going. It's okay. I'm gonna mute myself just in case.
All right. Great. And the next ingredient I'm going to use is fresh pepper, ground pepper. If you don't have fresh, the other pepper is totally fine. Black pepper. And I'm just using about, I'm putting about maybe half a teaspoon of fresh ground pepper. And then the next ingredient that I'm going to use is cheese. And the recipe calls for Parmesan cheese. Classic, right? Italian Parmesan cheese. Now, my version, because I'm Greek, has kefalotiri. Kefalotiri cheese.
I think you may be starting the next
very close
Greco.
to.
I think you may be starting the next Greco-Italian war there with that.
Trust me, an Italian friend of mine that she tried my pesto. She just she was blown away, and she's from Milano, and she's very Italian. She was like, "Oh, wow, Christos, wow, very good, very good." So she loved it. So if you guys have Parmesan cheese, I encourage you to use the Parmesan cheese about 2-3 tablespoons. It depends on how cheesy you want the flavor, but go for it. And then I would suggest that you go 2-3, and then if you want to add more, you can go, but start with 2 tablespoons of cheese, and then keep adding while you try. Now, the way I do it, I have my grater here because I want it fresh. I'm that kind of person, and I'm gonna, just grate inside the kefalotiri. If you cannot find the kefalotiri, it's fine. It's okay. Just go with the Parmesan cheese. It's really yummy still, and the flavor is gonna be amazing. This is one of those recipes that it goes along while you make it, and you just try whenever you're going to mix the ingredients, and you just try it out and see what flavor, what kind of ingredient you want to use more. Okay, so all the recipe is here now. So we have the basil, the olive oil, fresh pepper, ground pepper, cashew and breadcrumbs, and the cheese. And now I'm gonna mix it. And this while you make it, you can boil your water and your spaghetti or whatever you want to eat it with. Make sure to open it and scrape down all whatever is on the side. And then you also can, decide how oily you want to make it. I like it oily. Some people like it a little bit more dry. It's really a personal thing. And it will look like this. Okay, so mine is pretty oily. If you want it a little bit more oily, I like it oily. So I'll add a little bit of olive oil here, so it can be nice and oily, and then I'll just go again with my little thing here.
I like that thing.
Okay, and then you can also add just a tiny bit of water if you want to have it more liquid, but it's basically ready. I'll try it and see if I like it, and if I want to add a little bit more of the ingredients. That's great. It's ready.
Wow.
So
that looks delicious.
So now all I need to do, is just I'll just put it in a Tupperware or in a bowl if I want to use it immediately. I'll put it on a bowl, and I'll mix it with my with my spaghetti, my penne, whatever, and it's totally ready. It looks like this.
Oh,
That
wow.
looks
That looks
great.
fantastic. That looks like a great
Not-
spread for bread, too.
Yeah.
Some fresh bread. And yeah.
Fresh. I would encourage you to try it with hot bread in the oven. I would encourage you to try it with. You can even try it with tortilla. You can try it with rice. You can really, pesto is something that you can totally try with everything.
You know, we have an outdoor furno, metaxila, you know,
Oh,
with the
nice.
sticks and
I
everything.
see where you're going with this.
So I'm thinking I'll make some dough
I think-
and we'll
you should.
we'll
You
make
should
some
make a
pesto
loaf
pizza
of
with
bread,
this.
and
Yeah.
there you go. Perfect.
There
The
you
pizza,
go.
pesto pizza.
Yeah,
what
pesto
an
pizza.
amazing idea. You should. I'm gonna come down and you should invite me for that pesto pizza.
Oh,
Wow.
yeah.
You know,
Pizza
you are
party.
always invited, my friend. You want to come down today, you're here today. We'll wait for you. We're gosh, I wish you would have come to that party we had for Pascha, because it was but you know, we're having, now that things are opening up a little bit, you know, in a couple of weeks we're going to have the Freddie and Philip, who are from Cyprus.
From the Hajj.
Yeah, and they're
Mhm.
they have a band, an American style band, but they're going to be here. So we're just going to start getting. Last summer, every time we did the show, because of the food we were creating, everybody in the neighborhood would come over. So there were
Yeah.
like 10, 12 people all
Oh,
last
perfect.
summer that were over. So yeah, we would love to have you
Nice.
come over and help with the pizza. Take you back to Greece a little bit.
I'd
You
love to.
Well, let's talk about.
I'd love to.
Do you get homesick at all? I mean, are you? I know you're pretty busy, you know, here, but do you get homesick? Do you? If it wasn't for COVID, would you have gone back last summer, or would you?
Well, I always travel twice a year to Greece. One the first once in usually Christmas time, and a second time usually in summertime. And I'm trying to spend as much time as I can in Greece. Unfortunately, with COVID and the pandemic, I didn't have the chance to go back for the last 2 years.
Wow.
But this summer, I hope I'm gonna go. I am gonna go, actually. So it's been long overdue, and I miss so much Greece. I miss my friends. I miss my mom. I miss my family. I miss the Greek culture and the Greek waters and the Greek islands, and I always try to find an excuse to fly back home.
Have you had a chance to take your wife and child there? You have a newborn, and you've got. I mean, well, I guess he's a year old, or how old is he?
He's a year old. He's going to turn 1 year old on the 13th of June. And me and Sarah, we've been to Greece. Thank you so much. Me and Sarah, we've been to Greece 4 times already before the baby, but we haven't been with the baby, with Apollo, his name.
Oh,
Apollo, Greek name.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, like the Greek god. But we're planning a trip to Greece for him to meet his yaya.
Oh.
He's out there yaya because he has another.
Yeah.
He
I know
has 2 yayas.
Mm-hmm.
That's wonderful. You know, we talked about. I know people have been asking questions, and people are saying, "I love you." Hello from Kriti. I don't read Greek well enough to read some of this stuff, but you know, you have a lot of fans out there that have just been greeting you. But I wanted to just talk a little bit more about your movie career, and you know, I was watching you on Warrior, and which is a Cinemax
Mhm.
show, which was an idea of
Now
Bruce
it's
Lee's
HBO.
idea. Oh, HBO Max. That's right, HBO Max. You can see it on HBO Max. That's
HBO Max. Yeah, yep.
yeah, and it was an idea that Bruce Lee had, apparently, and that one of the producers on the show is Bruce Lee's daughter. And you play the best villains, man. I gotta tell you, because
So,
you don't come into it thinking that they're I don't know, you just don't feel like a villain until it actually starts happening. It's like they're very complex. You create these complex people, but one of the things I noticed was there was a scene in Warrior, and this is, I think, season 2, episode 6.
correct.
And there was a very kind of violent fight scene with the main character of the show, and there were no cutaways, and that was you.
It was very fluid.
Yeah, you were doing your own stunts in that show. And I go,
Yeah,
"Wow."
that was me. That was me, and it's true. First of all, to talk a little bit about the show. The show was based on the writings of Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee wrote this TV show back in the 1960s that he wanted to produce, or he wanted to make as a film, about this Chinese immigrant migrating to San Francisco back in the 1800s, late 1800s. So the whole story takes place in San Francisco in 1892, I think. And it's a story of this protege martial arts that he becomes a member of the Chinese mafia in San Francisco. Shannon Lee, who is the daughter of Bruce Lee, she comes in as the producer on the show. Here's a little behind the cameras tip. When I did the casting for that show, I've read for a character named Dolph, who is a fighter on this episode. And I've sent my audition, and I also talked to the producer who I happen to work with on Banshee, who is Jonathan Tropper, and I said, check out my audition and let me know. So he called me a week later and he says, well, Christos, we're gonna give this role that you auditioned to another guy simply because he's a fighter. That guy happens to be Mike Bisping, who, for the people that really watch UFC, Mike Bisping is on one of the Hall of Fame UFC fighters, Ultimate Fighter. He's like the man. So they chose him, of course, because he's a real fighter. So Jonathan Tropper called me and he said, well, we're not going to give you this part, but we have this other part that is really nice and equally big on this episode, and that role was originally written for a woman. So that role was a woman, and it was written for Shannon Lee. But Shannon couldn't do it. So they turned the character into a man. Smits was a woman at the beginning and written for Shannon Lee, but Shannon couldn't film it, and then that's how I got the part.
Wow.
Where's this filmed at? Because it looks beautiful. Where are they filming all this?
Well, the film is the whole TV show was shot and is been filming, because now this is another great thing about this, that the show ended on season 2, and the fans were so big, were so like into the show that they started like emailing, creating fun pages about having season 3. And season 3, even though was not greenlit, it got the green light by HBO Max, and now they're going to film season 3. And filming takes, yeah, right, and that filming takes place in Cape Town, is in South
Oh,
Africa.
oh my
So
goodness.
I had to fly all the way from, when I booked the part, I had to fly all the way from Los Angeles to Cape Town to film. Um, and that was a really, really fun, really amazing experience for me, because somebody tells you, "Oh, you're gonna go to Cape Town and you're gonna get paid. You're gonna fly business class, and they're gonna put you up in the best hotel. You get to have a good time on set, and you get to see Cape Town and South Africa for a month." So
Wow.
I feel so blessed about this project, and
Oh,
I
that's
do my own stunts.
fantastic.
Back
Yeah.
to what you
Yes,
back to
and
what
you
you
do.
mentioned, due to my martial arts background, I used to do Taekwondo, and I was also in the national team of Greece Taekwondo. In the last 10 years, I've been doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu on a high level, and I competed too. Because of that martial art background, I do my own stunts unless it's something that, fire, or even if I have to, do something with a car. I don't do all those like super extreme stunts, but all the fighting stunts, I do it by myself, and I rarely use my stunt double, even though he's there, and
Mhm.
we have practice, and he knows that he's gonna be ready to jump in anytime I need him. But I love doing my stunts, to be honest.
Well, yeah, the uh, well, I mean, I watched my favorite. I think my when I watched you do the things in Banshee, it then I saw John Wick, right? So I mean, I saw Banshee first and what
Hmm.
you were doing in Banshee, and to me, because I think that came first, and then John Wick came, and the moves you were doing there
Yeah.
are really the precursors to what John Wick was doing. Because I saw the most amazing fight scene that would stand up to anything John Wick has done is that fight scene that you had with, I think, Ivanka, or what is
With
the woman?
Ivana, yeah, with Ivana, yeah.
Ivana. Yeah, with
Ivana Milicevic.
yeah, and it was the last. I'm not going to give a spoiler away or anything, but I think you know which one I'm talking about. But you guys
Yeah,
are
you're talking about the scene in episode 8, and
yes.
I'm not gonna spoil it, but it's a 5.5 minute fight scene. It's one of the biggest fight scenes they've shot for that TV show. We shot it in 2 days. The first day lasted 17 hours on set, and the second day was another 12 hours to put it all together. And it was absolutely fantastic. It was actually one of my favorite moments on set. It's the moment that you realize as a Greek actor that this is Hollywood. This is how you do fight scenes, real fight scenes, pretty amazing stuff. This is how the director goes like, okay, you guys are gonna go, and he's gonna take your head and smash it through the window, and then you come out, and literally they're like 10, 10 people from the crew, and you do the scene.
Hmm.
She takes you, smashes you in the window, boom, and then cut. 10 people go like, they come with another window in minutes, just like that, and they just take off the broken window and they put a new one, super quick. Let's go again, let's do it. And everything moves really fast, and you see how big this industry is when you're on a set like that. You realize, everything is like, you see the wooden floor, and the wooden floor is a mat, but it looks like wood, so you can fall and not hurt, or all those amazing stuff, like a bottle of glass smashing in your head, that's like made of a material that doesn't cut you. This is when you realize that oh man, I'm in the game right now. This is where where you see the budget of each show. And we're talking about a 30-40 million dollar show.
Yeah, it is everything. When I watched that show, you could see who the protagonist was pretty clearly until you watched it up to the end. And then you said, oh, Oleg is he's the one who drops the dime. He's the one who, it was such an awesome bad guy you were playing, but you added such depth to it because it was kind of out of love. He loved her.
Yeah,
it's true.
It's true.
Like there's this depth that you were adding to it, and you go, okay, there's the difference between somebody who comes out of the National Theater of Greece and exploring and developing and unwrapping this character to just somebody coming off the street that just, has been at it a year. It was phenomenal.
Yeah,
I love that show.
Thank you. Breaking down a role and the breakdown of a role for each character is a personal journey, and it's a very personal thing on how you work on your craft and how deep you go, how deep you dig, and how much you put into that character from your experience. Other people, there are so many different schools, to be honest, and there's no recipe. And I feel there's no bad and good acting. I feel there's more and less efficient acting. Like you see an actor, then you go like, oh, I don't like him. It's probably the choices that he made when he was breaking down the role, and that made him less effective. Or you see someone that makes you cry or makes you laugh or makes you, oh my God, how did he do that? That's like other choices that the other actor did. And it's really, it's such a vast, way of processing and a vast idea of working as an actor, because there are so many schools. There are schools like the method acting. There are schools like David Mamet that he says, don't play, don't, just read your lines, and you're going to be real. There are different ways of acting.
Sure.
I totally believe it's a personal choice.
Can we talk a little bit about the film industry in Greece? Because one of the reasons we have the show is to really encourage people in Greece. Hey, hang in there. We love you here. The Greek Americans love you. But tell me about the film industry a little bit in Greece. Is it, I don't see people making choices. Well, at least in the past, I haven't, of going to Greece. They'll go to Croatia and say we're in Greece before they go to Greece. I know Mission Impossible, I think, shot in Greece, and I know some have shot in Greece, but it seems like the Greek canvas is so beautiful, and that, the extras for movies and the secondary leads maybe for movies are there, and they're talented people. I guess, why isn't Hollywood choosing Greece more?
Well, that's a very good question. That's a very good point, Bob, because this is changing, actually. In the last 2 years, probably the last year is the busiest year that Greece has ever seen as far as productions coming to Greece, simply because the government decided to pass laws about rebates and incentives and tax rebates, and now Greece is giving back 40 to 40% of what you're going to spend. So check this out. So many Hollywood productions right now are filming in Greece, and I'm going to name some simply because I know them. I auditioned for them. The new Yannis Adetokounmpo movie by Walt Disney is filming there,
Wow.
in Greece. The new David Cronenberg movie is filming in Greece in August. A new movie produced by Millennium, starring Antonio Banderas, is filming in Thessaloniki in July. Um, and a lot more will come simply because what happened to all those other countries, Czech Republic with Prague or Budapest, it started happening in Greece right now, and we do have that program that attracts a lot of Hollywood productions, and now everybody will be filming in Greece, and really this raises the level of filming and raises the level of the Greek movies, also raises the level of the crews. It's such an amazing thing, and a lot of people will find work on those productions.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's really good.
One of our regular watchers said Mamma Mia 2 went to Croatia. Yeah, we know, we just talked about it. Yeah, it was but no, that's such good news to hear, because that
changed. The whole scene changed.
Yeah, because when I traveled to Greece, I mean, I've traveled because I bring kids from the Greek Orthodox Church with me as well. Everywhere I go, it's like 4 hotel rooms. It's like, you're spending money. It's almost like putting a production together to go there. But one of the things I've always noticed is that the food costs in Greece are very low in comparison to everywhere else in the world. It's like if you're going to go to Crete and have a tomato salad, it's a lot cheaper than anywhere else in the world. If you're going to have raki rather than whiskey, it's like raki is like nothing over there. It's like the costs that it takes for a production company, especially when they're traveling, is so low, irregardless, I think, of economic incentives from the government. But you're right. I'm glad the government is doing this, because this is how Canada does it. That's why there's so much filming in Toronto. It's because of this. So,
well, it was about to happen. It was about time to happen, because like you said, the scenery and nature is absolutely phenomenal, and it's one of a kind. You'll never get to find anywhere else in the world the scenery of Greece. It was such a shame for us not to attract all those Hollywood movies and all those big productions. And it finally happened. And I feel more and more Greek actors are gonna make their way to Hollywood movies and TV shows, American TV shows or European TV shows.
Yeah, I am too, very much so. Is it when a production company in Greece, a Greek production company, when they film in Greece, is there, how should I put it? Are they filming thinking about just the Greek audience, or are they filming thinking about a worldwide audience? Like here in the United States, it seems like if you do a tentpole movie for a studio, you're thinking in terms of, well, we need the China market. It's like we need, it's like, do they think in terms of, well, we need to make it so it can have a screening throughout Europe, throughout the US, or do they just think in terms, hey, we're developing a movie just for the Greek market?
Well, I'd say that 90% is totally only for the Greek market, simply because of the language. That happens only for movies that go for festivals, and the movies that go for festivals and are shot in Greece, they can be subtitled. But most of the Greek projects, TV shows, for example, they're only made for Greece, and they're only sold to the Greek TV. I think it has to do a little bit with the budget, but it also has to do with the scripts and the scenarios. For example, I feel that Greece is not very open, especially Greek TV is not very open to more progressive ideas as far as TV shows is concerned and scripts. For example, more specifically, if you write a script in Greece in Greek TV, and the script it's about this 60-year-old high school chemistry teacher that he has cancer, and he knows that he's gonna die in 10 months, and he owes a lot of money. He's in debt, and he and his family are like struggling. So he's dying in 10 months, and the chemistry teacher decides to, and that's in a small town in the middle of nowhere, and the chemistry teacher decides to start using his chemistry to make drugs and sell it, and suddenly he becomes this huge kingpin. If you write this in Greek and in Greece, people will go like, no, that's really not happening.
Mm-hmm.
If you write it in America, there you go. You got Breaking Bad.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah, no, you're right. I knew where you're going with that.
You know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. It's. I think it's we have to be a little bit more open to the ideas and the scripts and the scenarios and what can work and what cannot work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I saw a movie. I'm trying to think of the name of it. It's Sebastian Stan is in it. I don't know if you know the name Sebastian Stan. He plays the Winter Soldier.
Yep, he was in the movie of Argyris Papagiropoulos, named not Happy Monday.
Yeah,
was
something
it Happy Monday or Monday. It has.
Yeah.
I know the director, and
that was it was so nice to see a movie, an English language movie with Greek actors in it. It took place in Greece. It had Greek actors in it. Yeah, the two principals weren't Greek, but everybody around them was played by Greek people. I know because I looked for the last names. I looked for. Yep. But that's. I don't know if it had a wide release. I don't think anything has a wide release right now. I think I watched it on Amazon. I think I paid for it too. But it was. But I love that. I want more of that. You see it and then you go, oh my God, this is what I've been missing. But
it's happening, Bob. It's happening.
Yeah, that is so good. That's so good. Hey, look, I don't want to keep you any longer, but I do want to thank you for coming on the show, but also, and thank you for the recipe, but also thank you for, giving everybody in Greece who sees that last name up on the screen kind of so much joy, and the characters that you bring to life. Thank you for the work you put into them and bringing them back into life, because you give us so much joy here in the U.S. And
more to come, Bob. Thank you so much for this. More to come. Thank you for having me on your show. I love cooking, that, and it was such a absolute pleasure for me to make this pesto and talk about things like my career. I hope it wasn't very heavy for a Saturday morning for us, Saturday night
in Greece.
Yep. I hope that in Greece. I hope I made their night there.
I am watching.
Thanks so much for having me.
I'm watching you on Facebook and Twitch here, so I can see all of the people that are watching. It's crazy. So I just got to see them scrolling. Oh my God. Hey, listen, let us say goodbye. You stay where you are just for a moment. We're going to say goodbye to everybody. And then I just want to talk to you just for a couple of minutes because I just want to tell you some things that we're doing that you might be interested in. Okay. So,
absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you. And
thank you. Thank you.
And to our audience, the people that have been watching, thank you so much. I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to go through everybody here and put you guys on the screen, but we know we love you coming here. Please hit subscribe and like. And if you can, on the YouTube side of things, subscribe on YouTube. I think we're 2 away from 500 on YouTube. So please subscribe. Yes.
Thank you guys so much.
Yes, thank you. And yes, us. Okay, it's in.